bring it back, bring it back, I bring it, we bring it back, hey. Episode of Road to William. I got my CUZZO on the show, Ashley from I Be Ballin'. Tell them about your channel.
Yeah, my channel is called I Be Ballin' Basketball Show. I'm Ashley I Be Ballin', and we discuss NBA and WNBA topics. We also cover, college. I do movie reviews, basketball movie reviews, and you know, this is like basketball breakdown of like playoffs of different drama that be happening in sports. So that's what I do. Ballin'.
Yep, go check out her channel after this and subscribe. Today, y'all, we're gonna be comparing the different house party films from beginning to the recent of last year. We're gonna give you our honest opinions, no holding back. So we're gonna start from the beginning. House Party originated. It actually started with Class Act, if I'm not mistaken. Or did Class Act come later? I feel like Class Act was like it told their story of how they met in real life, which I never knew. That could be a separate movie review, but that's basically what Class Act was. They were a group. They were called Kid and Play. They started this house party franchise, and it's like one of those classic films you gotta watch if you love music, if you love fun, comedy. It's all wrapped in one. It was one of those films where it was like the topics weren't as serious, but they were important. There were things people still went through, like when the first house party, Kid and his father, they were trying to navigate life without his mother, and how that relationship is after the fact when one of the parents leave, and what the remainder of the family does when that person leaves. And the father was already not so open, like he wanted to talk but not really. Kid also didn't want to talk. They were both kind of walking on eggshells, but he had his father in his life who tried to raise him the best that he could. But Kid, he was a teenager. He wanted to go kick it with his friends and party. So that's where we see his best friend Play, and they vibe out, and they have a party at his crib, and we get introduced to a lot of people where if you look back now, you're like, oh, these are OGs in this movie, but they weren't OGs back then. They were just starting out. You had Kid and Play, you had Martin Lawrence, Tisha Campbell, AJ Johnson. The rumor is Play and the person who played AJ Johnson gave birth to Jody, so that's really Jody's dad is Play from Baby Boy. That is the rumor. We don't know. But yeah, we get introduced to them. I really like the film a lot. But before we talk about what I liked about it, Ashley, let me know what you liked about the film of the first house party.
Yeah, I really liked it. The 90s music, the 90s clothing. You definitely vibe out to it. I like the mixture of my favorite part is um when they was hitting the dance floor and they was Kid and Play was dancing. Tisha Campbell's character and her friend, which was she was in Baby Boy too. She was in Baby Boy, yeah. Played the mother. They was dancing, so that's my favorite scene, and it was cool seeing um Tisha Campbell because right now I'm rewatching My Wife and Kids, and I already rewatched Martin, and it was cool to see Martin Lawrence too. He was young. It was before Bad Boys and how he got all his other franchise movies. He was the DJ, so he was pretty funny. I would say, oh, and I definitely like the rapping too. When Kid and Play was rapping, you can hear every word. It wasn't the mumble rap. You know, they had good metaphors and they could vibe off each other with the rhyming. And oh, and it was like funny, but they definitely had some good issues. Like you said, the father and the son trying to make it with the mama gone, and usually the mama is like the nurturer and talking, type, talk about the feelings, and dads are kind of sometimes reserved. They also had an issue with bullying, right? Different squads bullying. The bully part was funny because I really liked the one in the middle who had a squeaky voice. That was funny. But I also liked there was an issue about like dating, being young, partying, and there was also an issue about like police. Kid's dad was like, I told that boy he grounded, and he trying to find him, and the police try to go get him, so there was police issue. So it overall it was a great movie, and who knew that it would start, this saga of house parties.
Yeah, even with the police thing, it was more of like a subtle way versus like how Boys in the Hood did it in the house party. It was like they were harassing them, but it was like light, like even with the dad walking down the street, they're harassing them a little bit. But they eventually let him go. There was a part in that movie where it was he didn't know it, kid didn't know it, but he was crashing into Cindy's parents' party, and they were like well off, and kid and his dad weren't like poor, but they was they making it, and but Cindy, you see her side of the family. They got money. They having a big fancy party out in their backyard. Look like George Clinton out there on the DJ tables, vibing. They interact the way they interacted with police too when they were trying to rough up kid and the bullies. Because usually in that sense, the class could like play a part of how they look at police and how they look at people who are technically below them, but they were still on kids' side, and they know how cops treat black kids, black people in general, and so that just showed their character, and that no matter what class you're in, you still gotta, speak up for others because they'll take advantage of that and try and put you in that box too. Like, no, you guys are well off. You don't need to deal with these thugs. They were calling them thugs and all that. Yeah, they touched on different issues, different topics. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the first one. Now we're moving on to the second one. The second house party, they went into college. Kid's dad had passed, so now he doesn't have any parents. So his family is basically Play, and he's been staying with Play until he goes to college. But Play, he wants to get into the music industry. Their music is popping a little bit more. He's invested into that. Kid was like, well, I want to go to college to make my dad proud. And that was really more important to him, his morals and his goals that he wanted. Even though he did like music, it showed him how dedicated he is as a person, and how serious he takes like family and values. Him and Cindy get into a situation where it's like sex is more talked about, and Queen Latifah. Come on now, we can't forget Queen Latifah was in the film, and she was Cindy's roommate, and she's telling her like, no, you don't have to have sex with him. You don't have to do anything. She's showing her a more stronger side you could have. And it's just a version. And I think that Cindy was going into college very green, wet behind the ears. And, she wanted to soak up everything. But sometimes that movie showed too, like, you gotta find yourself. And that's what everybody was doing in that film. Like Play tried to say it to Kid in a way that wasn't disrespectful to his pops, but he was just like, if you don't want to do this school thing, you don't have to, but then it shows you different sides of which way you could go. If they did go that music route, they were about to get, if they rushed in it too soon, they were about to get all their money taken. They were going into a bad deal. And if he would have just went that route completely, it would have messed him up a lot. He was fine. Kid was trying to find himself too. They all were, but they were in different phases in their life. Like Play was trying to figure out the career outside of going to school, you know, and Sydney and Kid were trying to find themselves going into this college, and how college is so broad, and you can soak up and learn a lot of things, but you could also get, you know, swallowed up by it. But yeah, what is your take on the movie? What was your favorite part?
My favorite part. Obviously, my favorite part is the party. House party. But this time it was, in a school setting. It was like a pajama jama party, and
Mhm.
um, I liked it because it was still the same as like house party, like the different issues and the funny comedies, but it also showed them growing up. So it showed it's kind of like house party. You grew up with house party, and they was growing up with you. So it's like the audience is growing up. So it's a different setting. It's not like this. It's the same, but like a step up. It's a little different, but the same. So they're keeping it to the core, but they're also showing you that they're growing up. And that's how House Party 3 was too. So I think my favorite part was the pajama party because there was so much that was going on, and I like when they was running after each other in the dorms and stuff. So there was a lot going on. It turned out to be a happy ending. Kid got the money he needed, from the party, but he had to work out stuff with, people at the school. But overall, I like the party scene, obviously the rap scene, but when they were all running through the dorms, that was my favorite part.
Yeah, I like that part too. And I also liked how Kid, even though he didn't have any more parents in his life, he still had like a father figure with his professor that kind of mimicked his father in the sense of he was stern, but he was, you know, you could tell he cared for him, and wanted him to be on the right path. Even his the chef, didn't he work in the kitchen? That dude, he scared me a little bit. They were both. He still had father figures guiding him. You know, it's like his father was still in his life, but they were in two different people. And Play and Queen Latifah's character, they were both getting played by the same person, and they were in two different worlds. Like Play was out in them streets, and then Queen Latifah, she was at the school, but they were getting played by the same person, and it shows that no matter, you know, where you come from, you know, you could have the talent, but it's always gonna be that sneaky mother that's gonna try that's gonna try you. It doesn't matter if you got the book smart or the street smart. Like the slime gonna be the slime. Like, but I'm glad they had worked it out in the end. Cindy ended up finding herself, you know, because she was being pulled apart too. It wasn't just Kid just wanted to, you know, get busy with her every 2 seconds. It wasn't just Queen Latifah telling her, no, you gotta, you know, do this, wear dashikis and do this and that. Like she had to come to her own self and be like, look, and remember kind of who she is. She's just growing up, like you said. Like you don't have to change. You're just growing, you know, and learning more about yourself. And you can take bits and pieces from people, but you don't have to take the whole thing. But that was a good, yeah, the party scene, the rap scene was my favorite. The one scene that always scared me growing up was like in the beginning with Whoopi Goldberg, and I'm like, what's going on? Why are they in the dark with the smoke? That kind of scared me always. But yeah, that was a good film. They even had I think the person who was playing them both was a model. Her name is Iman, if I'm not
Oh yeah, yeah.
mistaken. They had a lot of oh, that one scene where his face when Cindy was like talking to that dude, his face turned into a monster. That scared me a little bit growing up. Even as an adult, I was like, oh, I don't know about that.
Reppin' the WNBA, baby. Ayy. Put your W's up, put your W's up, put your W's up. PG is free, back with the Mercury.
I was like, you gotta get her away from him. But yeah, that was a good one. So now we're moving on to House Party 3. House Party 3, they grown now. They a little grown. Their music is starting to pop, but now kids not with Cindy anymore. Now this is when I gotta pull up the when the further we go out of
House Party 3, they growing even more now. Cause Kid, he gonna get
Vita.
married.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like big wedding, and people are like, oh, it's bachelor parties, a women and a man's bachelor party that gets crazy and wild. Immature and TLC is in it, and they trying to do their promoting thing. You know what I mean? They trying to make deals, and the music industry, is tough with those contracts. So they growing up even more now, and Cindy does make an appearance, toward the end, but it's like even like I liked so Kid is marrying another lady. What's her name?
Vita.
Oh, Vita.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she's like, Kid's the one for me. And her girlfriend was like, I don't know, dogs will be dogs. So I liked her friend the most in the movie. That was funny. I think it's just another level of growing up. I guess my favorite scenes would be the TLC and immature scenes when immature was singing, and even when they was just acting, I was like, hey, that's Roger before he became Roger. And that's IMX before they changed their name. But and even Left Eye, I think I got a little sad watching this movie because a lot of people in this movie is gone. Bernie Mac was in there, he gone. Left Eye, she was rapping at the end, she gone, and I'm pretty sure some other people in this movie gone. So I was like a little sad. I was like, oh my goodness, we're growing up, and times is changing. So yeah, I think that was my take on it. But just seeing a lot of the old folks, like the lady from 227, she was playing like the grandma. I really liked how like they ended off with a bang because there was two bachelor parties, but there was also two parties. The little guys, immature, they was running their own party.
Oh
So
yeah.
I thought that was dope.
Mm-hmm.
And Kid and Play's party was pretty trash. But yeah,
Yeah.
what's your take on the movie?
Yeah, I like the grandma the most because she shows you like when you get older, you can still have fun. Like, first off, they was bogus for giving her the wrong tape, but she enjoyed it. You know what I mean? And she was like, y'all watching it. y'all watch-" She
They
tried to
gave
turn it
her
back on them, like, you watched the whole thing. But I like how IMX Marcus Houston character he kept checking on the grandma and stuff like, you good, knowing they had a whole party going on downstairs. I do like that I liked how, IMX was in it, TLC was like, it was a bunch of like nowadays I feel like it's rare when you see like a whole bunch of people, different artists, different actors all in one spot. I feel like that was definitely a 90s thing. That's something that doesn't happen as often. Like it'll happen in TV shows, but
yeah.
movies is very rare where it's like you got all these people in this movie right now. Like
Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker. They could play.
Them
Everybody played their role. Yvette Wilson, who played Aunt Dale, was in it. I'm getting chased by the dog. I was like, this is crazy. Overall, the film was lit. A lot of action packed. A lot of action packed stuff happened in the film. Kid had to figure out. Well, he didn't have to figure out nothing, but his fiance had insecurities in their
Cindy and
relationship
yeah,
because
Sydney.
Cindy
Yeah,
came back around and she was already kind of in her chest about Cindy. But Cindy had moved on. Like she was just showing her. She always cared for him. Like they showed like a mature love where it's like you ain't gotta like try and sleep with him or nothing. Like she's just showing her love for him. She's glad that he found somebody. Cause she wasn't even trying to be on that either. Like that could have been a whole nother thing. She was just like, I'm glad you're happy. You know what I mean? But yeah, Vita's friend was not having that. She was like, nah, nah. But they got married and it worked out. Now let's move on. Let's move on to House Party 4. It had with IMX. That one was where I started to see the downfall of House Party, in my opinion. Because I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? It did have funny parts. It did have funny parts. But I get it. I get it. The IMX was in the last one. They grown up. Cool. But this was not my favorite film.
This house party, I wasn't really like a serious movie critic when I was young, so I thought this was pretty decent. It wasn't like better than one, two, or three, but I thought it was decent. What I noticed is this one was directed by Chris Stokes. It has some good people in it: Kim Whitley, Megan Good, Alexis Fields, but if you don't have the original Kid and Play in there, it's not gonna do well. Also, if you don't have the same writers, the same directors, it's not gonna do well. I don't even know. Was this even in theaters? I doubt it. Let me see. I don't even know how the 2023 one was in theaters. That was terrible, but
We're
we'll
getting
get
to
to
that
that.
one.
But I'm gonna see. Okay, so they had some different directors. Okay.
All right, let's get to the fifth. Let's get to the latest House Party. The latest House Party came out last year, and it had Jacob Lattimore, DC Young Fly, and another young brother in there. He's like an up and coming person, I think, because I don't think he was in anything else. Tosin Cole, maybe he was. I don't know him from nothing. But Supercell, he was in Resolution, 61st Street. Oh, he was in the new Bob Marley movie. I haven't seen that.
Oh, I gotta see that. One Love.
Yeah, I gotta see that too. Second
So,
Coming. I haven't seen him in anything before. So to me, he's brand new on this screen. I didn't. This is my experience. I was like, I'm about to go support this film because I really like Jacob Lattimore. You already know he's from Milwaukee. You gotta represent. You gotta represent. We all know his acting is amazing. We've seen him in a bunch of things. So I'm like, okay, I really don't like when they reboot stuff or try and do a throwback movie. I don't, but he's in it, so it might be good. And then in the trailer, I saw like Kid and Play was in there. I'm like, okay, okay, they're doing something right. So I go to the movies, and the first time I went, I didn't stay the whole time. I left like almost halfway through the movie. I was like, this is not funny. Like all the jokes are bombing. It's not. But no one in the theater was laughing either. So it's like, okay, it's not just my own personal opinion. It's like everybody is just like either chuckling or they're not laughing at all. And I end up walking out. I was like, and it was some like teenagers and stuff in there, and I'm like, and everybody was talking. I'm like, why are we talking? And I had to get up out of there. So I was like, whatever. watched it at the crib because it came out quick on streaming. I was like, okay, bump it. I'm gonna just watch it on streaming, and I was just disappointed in the whole film. The further it got, they added like Illuminati stuff in it, and I was like, nah, I'm really lost. um, in the basketball scene versus LeBron, I was like, why is this happening? Yeah, you could say how you feel about it.
It definitely was the worst house party movie of all time. And the funny part is the house party with IMX leading it, it went straight to DVD, but this house party should have went straight to DVD. It was not. I like Jacob Lattimore. I just think it was a money grab. The jokes weren't funny. They tried to put different cameos in it, to be like, hey, this person's in it, but that doesn't matter. It wasn't good. I think it was just a money grab. You have to have a good plot. You have to have good dialogue. You have to have good jokes. It just, not only was it one of the worst house parties of all time, it wasn't even a good movie. You know, outside of House Party, it wasn't even a good movie. This is like one of the worst black movies ever. Like, it's terrible. Also, I was looking up like all the House Party movies, and there's another one called House Party Tonight's the Night. And I think I do remember watching this when I was younger. It came out in 2013, and it's with that black boy from Everybody Hates Chris, the brother. I guarantee that one from 2013 is probably better than 2023. That shouldn't be. And LeBron, you put your name on this. You were in the film. I know you want to do this Hollywood thing, but come on, man. Come on, LeBron. You shouldn't put your name on this, man.
No.
And Jacob, my brother, my Milwaukee brother, you didn't need to do this movie. You know good and well you didn't need to do this movie. Because even if you read the script, you gotta know like something is missing, something is wrong, and it's not just one thing; it's multiple things wrong. Like there's Tubi movies better than this movie. Like, I'm sorry, it's the truth.
How'd you feel
Tubi
about
free
the
movies,
basketball scene? How'd you feel about the basketball scene?
trash, trash. I don't even know why that was even in the movie. They could have cut that out. They probably like, oh, maybe some LeBron fans will appreciate this and come to the theater and support us. It's just terrible.
It definitely seemed like it was just for the money. Like, um, I feel like out of all of them, the third one to me is the best. Um, because, like I said, the reason I like the third one is because you had all those cameos in there, and it still made sense. Like, I kind of, I don't want to, I kind of feel bad saying it's the third one because, like, the father's not in the past two of those. But I feel like if he would, because he passed away in real life, I feel like if he was alive still, he would have still been in all these movies and it would have fit perfectly. You know what I mean? But one through three, the best. Okay? One through three, the best. It told a story. It made sense. It followed. Years down the line, where do we see Kid and Play in an Illuminati setting and somebody about to get gone, got, done. And they talking about be quiet, don't say nothing. And I think that was just like one of those for the conspiracy theory people that like always think the Illuminati is involved with certain things in order for you to, and they think about this too about sports too, like you gotta make a sacrifice in order to, they take that literal, like you got to make a sacrifice in order to move to the next level. And so they played that in with how LeBron got his ring and all that other how stars move up in the world. They gotta attend this ritual setting and move in, and it's like I get why they put it in, but it was more so a laughing thing. It wasn't like this is seriously what happened. But I feel like why put it in there? If anything, it's gonna make the conspiracy theories go even crazier. Like, oh, see, they're putting it in our face. So what did you think of overall? Oh yeah, what did you think overall of the last House Party movie?
Overall, it's never worth seeing again. I think my favorite one is the first one, but I also really like the third one too. I would say that I like three, then one, then two. Um, the best. But the last one, it was just terrible, terrible.
Yeah, I gotta put three first as well.
They messed up the culture. They messed up the classics. Come up with something else, but don't ruin no classics. You know?
It was definitely the storyline that just it seemed too stretched. There were too many like awkward moments. It seemed like it was a bunch of fillers. And like even DC Youngfly, I like him like in his work that he do when they on 85 South, when they on stage. Like I think the actors did what they had to do, but whoever wrote it and directed it, I don't know. I don't know what happened. Something wasn't. It didn't click. It felt like a forced film. And if they would have just, I think even so that being attached to like a franchise is what made it really even like worse. You know, it's like
Yeah.
if they would have took the house party, then we'd been like, okay, now we can kind of look at it a little different. But knowing that we're going based off of this, I'm like, nah, they could have kept that one in the vault.
Oh man, yeah.
They could have
Keep it
kept
in
that
the
in the
vault.
vault. But it's out there. It happened. Now we can learn from it. Sometimes they gotta make these films so we could be like, all right, don't ever do that again. Don't do that one ever again. Stop. If you like, I feel like the franchise thing, it's hard to do. It's hard to do. But like the Best Man did a good job. Twilight, Harry Potter, they doing their thing. House Party, y'all fumbling it up. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. Get it together. But yeah, I'm gonna rate mine 3, 2, 1. Just I gotta put Queen Latifah in there, but the rest is it's the same order. 4 than the last one, but because Jack A was in it. Jack A was in the
Oh
first,
yep.
and she did her thing. I think also it just being attached to oh boy is like I don't know, buddy, but I do like the stories. They told really good stories. They had really good actors in it to play the roles. I just think I just think at some point they lost their way. They lost their way. But thanks for hopping on the show. Go check out her channel. Where should they find you at?
You can find me on every platform: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, X, Threads. Ashley, I be balling. Stay balling and go check out different, movie reviews, NBA, WNBA news. I'm starting to do NBA 2K now. So it's all basketball. Anything you need, I be balling basketball show. Gotcha covered. Stay balling.
And Road to William. Make sure y'all like this video, subscribe, and share. I'll be on 2K as well. I got a different build. I mimicked somebody's off YouTube, so hopefully it's work out. Because I did it on my own, and I'm like, I'm struggling, especially on the playground. I'm like, oh my goodness. But yeah, we gonna tune back in and peace. Hey, yeah. What we do today?